You're divinely protected by the universe. It always wants the absolute best for you. Even when the bad things happen, it's for the best of you. I am so goddamn grateful for my trauma, because if it wasn't for that, I would not be the strongest version of myself today. The universe throws the most challenging and most difficult times at you only because you are capable of going through them. I see that these experiences have made me so much stronger. They've made me so much more powerful, and they've given me so much confidence that I know that I can deal with anything in life. There's so much more strength in saying that you actually need help rather than saying that you can do this on your own because you're a strong, independent woman. Hi guys, my name is Cynthia, and in this video I want to dive into how to heal from trauma and how to use it as your strength. First of all, what I want to say is that if you're going through anything at this moment, please seek help. Videos like this are not going to fix everything that you need to go through, and you need to truly process everything that's happened to you. Because when it comes to trauma, it is something that is very individual. I will be speaking from my own experience and how I actually managed to get myself up from the rock bottom at a very young age. And this is not something I did on my own. This is the number one thing you need to do, is seek the right help. When I was 21, I was at my rock bottom. I had just moved to a new country to study abroad. I started from no money, working as a waitress, could barely pay my rent. I got laid off, and this is where I met a man who terribly assaulted me, and it traumatized me to an extent that I couldn't recognize myself. I couldn't recognize myself in the mirror. I didn't know what the body that I was in, what is this body? What is happening? I had no idea what was happening to me. All I knew is how much it hurt, how much I was confused and in pain and in shock, and I was so ashamed. I just remember rolling into the police station, crying for an hour. The policeman had to sit and calm me down for me to even tell them what happened, because I was so traumatized. I don't even remember the event itself. All I remember is the police station and the hospital at this point. And even the next months after what happened was a complete blur in my memory, because I was so traumatized. So please seek help. Talk to people when anything like that happens to you. It doesn't have to be a sexual assault. It can be anything. It can be a breakup. It can be psychological trauma, being in an accident. There's many things that can cause you to be traumatized. So please seek help and please speak about it. You are not alone in this. What I did at the very beginning was probably the worst things that I could do. I decided to go through it on my own because I thought I was strong enough and strong, independent woman who can do anything at 21. I didn't tell my family, I didn't tell many friends. I told one friend, but it wasn't necessarily that kind of support type of friendship. I didn't have anyone to tell. I was extremely alone. And that was probably the worst decision I made. But the thing is, I didn't feel like I could trust anyone enough to tell this. And I didn't want to tell it to my family because I felt like they would be so much in pain knowing what I'm going through out there alone, living abroad. And I didn't want to feel weak. I didn't want to seem weak. I was ashamed as well. And this is the worst possible decision you can do, is that when you need help, you don't seek for it. There's so much more strength in saying that you actually need help rather than saying that you can do this on your own because you're a strong, independent woman. This is not how it works. There's people out there who are professionals and who can deal with this. And you need to process your traumas, otherwise you're going to continue your entire life not only hurting yourself, but everyone around you. If you don't heal your trauma, it's actually a very selfish thing to do. Because the more you live within your trauma, the more you traumatize others with the experience that they have with you. The more you walk around with unhealed wounds and with psychological issues that you have not resolved, the more you hurt everyone else in the process. I was not a nice person to be around back then. I was not. I feel so sorry for all the people that I had to interact with within the next half year or a year, and because I was not present. I was definitely not present. I was so depressed because I was so alone, and I thought that meditation and yoga was gonna fix it. Let me break it to you, it's not. It's not gonna fix deep issues, PTSD and depression. It's not going to fix that, unfortunately. Only 6 months after, when I realized I was in deep depression, like such a deep depression that I could feel a void inside of me eating me alive, when I stepped into a therapist's cabinet and told her, just give me medicine. Just give me something that will help me to alleviate the pain. And I thank God so much for her telling me, no, dear, we're not going to go to the medicine. We are going to process what you have been through. Medicine is just going to cover it up and you will not actually be healed. This is probably the hardest realizations I had in those 22 years of my life, that you need to go through every single emotion that you feel. You need to feel it through. The more you push it down, the more it's gonna grow bigger and bigger inside of you and eat you alive. It's going to completely destroy you from the inside the more you suppress your emotions. It's insanely important to go through everything that you're feeling. And it's even more important to go through it with a professional in a case like PTSD, depression, and trauma response. And when I'm telling you that she was absolutely brilliant in giving me all the tools and techniques on what to do and how to process everything that has happened to me, she saved my life. She quite literally saved my life. Stepping into her office saved my life and changed me forever. One thing that she said that I want you to remember, you need to let the emotion in. Don't close the door against it. Let it in. Process it. And the moment that you feel you actually are not impacted by this emotion anymore, you're okay with it. Pain is okay. Shame is okay. Feeling scared is okay. And you feel at peace with it. That you've let it pass through you. And it's a beautiful and liberating feeling to feel like actually it feels lighter because you've let it in. You've let it be here with you. You're not covering it up with alcoholism. You're not covering it up with excessive eating or excessive exercising or trying to patch it up with medicine, anything letting you escape the reality. Escapism is probably the worst thing that you can do for yourself, because you're not addressing what is it that you're actually escaping from. Why do you even need to escape your life? Life can be such a beautiful thing. It's such a blessing to be on this earth. The chances of us being born are so little that it's absolutely tragic that so many of us are not enjoying our lives and are living in misery. You get challenges because God knows that you are able to solve them. You are absolutely capable of solving them and moving past to get even stronger and stronger and stronger at every single time that you do them. There's no absolute need of self-pity and victimization because nobody is a victim. Everyone suffers. It's your choice how much you let that suffering eat you alive. And if you don't know the tools and techniques on how to deal with it, there's people who do it for a living. This is why we are a society. We help each other. We can. When you think that humans are selfish, that humans are doing things for business, it's expensive, don't you think it's even more selfish walking around traumatized and traumatizing more people with your unresolved issues? Second thing that I think is insanely important when it comes to trauma, tell it to your friends, tell it to your family what has happened. There's absolutely no shame, but it's actually liberating to tell it to someone. It feels like a rock rolling off from your chest when you tell that to someone. I remember the first real friend I told about this, and it was like 8 months in after this happened. She could see that I was truly deeply suffering, and she was there for me, and she held my hand, and she just listened. And find those people that are there to listen to you, because actually normalizing it and being able to say like, yeah, that happened to me, but it's fine, and I'm doing so much better than I did before, and that is beautiful. And everyone should be able to do that sooner or later. If it's been 1 to 2 years since your trauma and you still can't say it out loud, there's definitely some deep work you need to do. And I really, really believe that you can get to the point where you can say these things out loud without having an emotional response. I can speak very openly also about my father's death. I can speak very openly about the sexual assault I've been through because I have processed them. I've actually found them as a strength. I see that these experiences have made me so much stronger. They've made me so much more powerful, and they've given me so much confidence that I know that I can deal with anything in life. Throw it at me, I'll deal with it. But it takes so much work to get to that point. So make sure you put it in. And the third thing on getting free from your trauma and actually building strength from it is realizing that you don't need closure. If someone did something to you, if someone broke up with you, divorced you, if someone assaulted you, you sometimes want them to be behind bars. You sometimes want them to tell you, oh, I divorced you because of this, or this is why it didn't work, or you want the guy to sit behind the bars. Listen, I wanted the man that assaulted me to be behind bars, and I thought that would make me feel so much better, that I would just be free and live happily ever after. But that's not the case. If that's what you need, you will never get closure. You give closure within yourself. You give closure within yourself that, you know what, this is what happened to me. I don't need to see something bad happening to them for me to actually feel like I can move forward. I don't need that. You don't need that either. What you need to realize is that any energy that a person puts out in the universe comes back at them doubled. So anyone who has hurt you, they will get it back. They will get it right back at them. And you don't even need to do anything because the universe has your back. Is there any time that you feel like the universe hasn't had your back? Have you ever felt like you didn't get something that you wanted so bad, but it actually turned out to be a blessing? You're protected. You're divinely protected by the universe. It always wants the absolute best for you. Even when the bad things happen, it's for the best of you. Before I went through the assault, I was a person that I wouldn't want to be friends with today. I didn't even like myself. I was a pushover. I was seeking validation constantly. I was desperate for being loved by anyone. And it's such a devastating state to live in. I didn't even like myself. So I needed that slap in my face that I need to work on myself to be strong and happy and fulfilled in my life. The validation you need is within you because the God trusts in you and it gives you the challenges that you can solve to get to the best potential of yourself. So why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you actually working on your issues and addressing them? The moment they arise, like, why aren't you asking yourself, why am I feeling like this? And what can I do about it? I honestly believe that working on yourself is the least selfish thing that you can do. Because getting to your highest potential benefits the entire society. When you see someone who is successful, wealthy, happy, fulfilled, you see them as an inspiration, right? You see them as something that you can also achieve. Work on it. Get into that therapist's office. Ask yourself, what is causing you these emotions? Sit with the emotions. Absorb them, feel them, but don't let them control you all over your emotions. You can't control what feeling will arise to you, but you can control how you react to it. You have the full control of your body and your mind. And to be trapped in a mind that is not healthy, it's probably the worst place in the world that you can be. And trust me, because I've been there. I've been severely depressed. I've had PTSD after the sexual assault. So work on it. You're not in this alone. We are a society that help each other. This is why I'm making this video. I want to help you. I want to help every single one of you who is going through something. You will be so much stronger, so much more powerful and confident when you come out of this. And you only get this challenge because you can solve it. It will take some time, it will take some effort, but you will get to the end of it. Nobody dies from this. But what happens is that potential dies if you don't realize it. So make sure you reach that potential and do not let yourself die within before you die externally, because that will be the saddest thing for me to see, that if any single person has not reached their potential just because of their internal issues and just because they were too lazy to fix them. This is why I want to make this video. I want you to be aware. What is your mental state right now? What is it that you need to work on? If it's trauma resolution, you need to seek help. You need to address it. You need to admit it. You need to own it. It's an experience. It's like any good experience. You also need to own your bad experiences. There's absolutely nothing wrong with sharing everything bad that has happened to you in life because everyone goes through suffering. Own everything that you've experienced and it's making you into your best self. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this helps at least one person of you to get out there and get some help that you need. And I'm here for you if you need to talk. Please write in the comments. I'm happy to start a discussion in the comments if you have healed from trauma and how you have done it.